The midpoint formula. Okay, for example, if we have, if we have A with coordinates x sub 1 and y sub 1, and B with coordinates x sub 2, y sub 2, and these two are endpoints of a line segment, then the midpoint of the line segment is given by M equals, for the x coordinate, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2, and for the y coordinate, y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. So as what you can see here, the x values or the abscissas are added and then divided by 2. So it's just the average. And then the y's are also, this one is also the average of the two y's. So for the midpoint, you just get the middle, the point in the middle of the two given points. So here, if we have these 2 points, A and B, the midpoint is the middle point. And how do you get that? For the x, just add the two x's and divide by 2. And for the y, add the two y's and divide by 2. Okay, so this is the midpoint formula. Example, find the coordinates of the midpoint of the segment whose endpoints are 3, 8, and negative 5, 2. Okay, so for the x, we just have our, we will add the two x's and divide by 2. So the two x's are 3 and negative 5. So this is the first x, the second x, and then add them, divide by 2. And for the y coordinate, then you have add 8 and 2 and then divide by 2. Very easy. So 3 plus negative 5 is negative 2. That's over 2. And then 8 plus 2 is 10. So 10 over 2. So we have negative 1, 5. So the midpoint of the line segment whose endpoints are 3, 8, and negative 5, 2 is negative 1, 5. Okay, find the coordinates of the midpoint of the segment whose endpoints are negative 2, negative 12, and negative 4, 8. So add the two x's, divide by 2. Add the two y's, divide by 2. So the two x's are negative 2 and negative 4. So you will have negative 2 plus negative 4 over 2. And then negative 12 plus 8 over 2. So that's negative 6 over 2 and negative 4 over 2 for the y. So negative 6 over 2, that's negative 3. Negative 4 over 2, that's negative 2. So the coordinates of the midpoint is are negative 3, negative 2. Another example. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of the segment whose endpoints are 0, negative 3, and negative 18, 6. So 0 plus negative 18 divided by 2, and then negative 3 plus 6 divided by 2. So negative 18 divided by 2 and positive 3 divided by 2. So you will have negative 9, 3 halves. Okay, how about the midpoint of the segment whose endpoints are 9, 10, and 2, negative 5? So we will have 9 plus 2 over 2 and 10 plus negative 5 over 2. So that's 11 over 2 and 5 over 2. Or 11 halves and 5 halves. So 11 halves, 5 halves is the midpoint. So it's easy if you're just given with the two endpoints and find a midpoint. So you will have, you will just have to add the two x's and divide by 2, add the two y's and divide by 2, and then you will already get the x and y coordinates. How about if you're given with a midpoint and 1 point? What is the other point or endpoint of the line segment? Point M 3, 5 is midway between point A with coordinates 9, negative 1 and point B with unknown coordinates. Find the coordinates of B. So if we will illustrate that, M is midway between A and B. And M is 3, 5. A is 9, negative 1. So B is unknown. So let that be x sub 2, y sub 2. So this midpoint here is x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2. That's according to the midpoint formula. And the y coordinate is y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. So is somewhere uh, this way. Here, somewhere here. Maybe somewhere here. Because it's the distance of these two should be the same as the distance of these two. Okay, so let us use the midpoint formula. So x sub 1, okay, plus x sub 2 over 2, this is the midpoint, is 3. And then solve for x sub 2. X sub 1 is 9 here. So replace x sub 1 with 9. So here a is the x coordinate of a is x sub 1. So replace x sub 1 with 9 and then solve for x sub 2. Since we have a denominator here, multiply both sides by 2 and you will have here you will multiply by 2 and this also multiply by 2. You will have this cancelled. And then you will be left with 9 plus x sub 2. And then 3 times 2 is 6. And then add negative 9 to both sides of the equation. You will get 6 plus negative 9. That is negative 3. So x sub 2 is negative 3. So we're okay with x sub 2. So this one is already okay. How about y sub 2? So for y sub 2, we will use this formula. For the midpoint, y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. But the midpoint is given to be 5, so you will put 5 there. Multiply both sides by 2. Okay, by the way, I replace first negative 1, y sub 1 with negative 1. And then you can do that simultaneously or you can do it one by one. So here in this video, I'm just showing the step-by-step process. So multiply both sides by 2, you will get negative 1 plus y sub 2 equals 10. And then add positive 1 to both sides of the equation, you will get y sub 2 equals 11. So y sub 2 is also solved. So the coordinates of B are negative 3, 11, which is this point. Okay, so if you didn't get this, you can just go back to the part where you did not understand. Okay, let's now move to the practice part of this video. Okay, so we have 4 items here. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of the line segment whose endpoints are given for 1, 2, and 3. For number 1, 8, negative 2, and negative 4, 16. For number 2, negative 3, negative 1, 3, negative 8. And then for number 3 and number 4, it's you're given with the one endpoint of a line segment and the midpoint, and you're asked of the other endpoint. So some of you can just solve this mentally without using ball pen and paper, but some of you need ball pen and paper. So for those who need ball pen and paper, you can just pause the video and play if you are already ready to check your answers. So number 1, the answer is 2, 7. So you have to add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, and divide by 2. Same with number 2, you add and divide by 2. So we have 0, negative 9 halves. Number 3, we have negative 11, negative 12. Number 4, 8, 14. Okay, so if you got 4, very good. And if you got 3, you need just a little bit more to get perfect. So maybe you just got careless in your process there. And if you didn't get anything right, just replay the video so that you will really understand and get how to solve these kinds of questions. Okay, so that's it for now. I hope that you're also subscribing and commenting on the videos. Don't forget also to like. Thank you so much. Bye.